Hi, in this video today we're going to be talking about what does sphere, cylinder, and axis mean in your lens prescription. But before I go into that, let's tell you how you can connect with us. If you're local, you can give us a call at 618-288-1489. If you're not local, that's okay. Go to our website at visionforlifeworks.com. You can do lots of things there, including take a quiz, read success stories, read about what we do, but you can also schedule a consultation. All right, so what is this sphere, cylinder, and axis? This is a question that I get asked all the time, not only in my clinic, even by patients that are coming in here, which we talk about it regularly, but certainly on YouTube, this question comes to us a whole lot. So let's kind of break it down. So the sphere component of the lens prescription is going to be the first numbers that you tend to see. And it's usually going to say something such as +1 or -250. You might also have something that says SPH or DS. And if someone writes that in that first number location, what that really means is there's no power. So if it says DS or if it says SPH, they won't usually put a 0. They will typically write one of those notations. So then if it's a plus and it's say +1 or +2.25 or +475, then that means that the person is farsighted. That plus sign indicates farsightedness or hyperopia. Now, if it's a minus sign on that sphere component, then that indicates being nearsighted or having a condition called myopia, where the person doesn't see as good far away. Farsighted is the person can see far away, they're farsighted, but they don't see as good up close. So now let's talk about that cylindrical component. So on the cylinder part, this is always going to be combined together with an axis. So if you have something where it says cylinder, you'll always have an axis on there. And what that really means is that this is part of an astigmatism portion of your lens. The cylinder is the power assigned to what does it correct, or what does it need to be in order to correct this focusing problem with the eyes. And then the axis is going to be the notation of where does stuff have to be oriented in order for that to become clear. So as an example, if someone has astigmatism and they have either a plus or minus sphere, that doesn't matter. But if they have an astigmatism component, then what they see may look like it's drawn or spread out. It might be spread out this way, or at a diagonal. And in order to compensate for that, a lens is given in the opposite direction, 90 degrees away. So if it's drawn and you kind of pulled out this direction, then the cylinder and axis will line up this direction at like the 180 meridian. If it's kind of drawn and pulled apart at the 45-degree angle, then the opposing 90-degree 135 will be the axis that they write on the lens prescription. And this will kind of bring us to another thing. So we've talked about the sphere being plus or minus, which means hyperopia, myopia. The cylinder is going to be the power needed to correct that kind of dragging out, if you will, of what things look like if you have an astigmatism. The axis is the orientation 90 degrees away to counteract, if you will, the fact that things are kind of drawn out. So again, if it's drawn out this way, to counterbalance that, we'll give a lens prescription at the 90 degree. Think of it like rounding things out, because that's what we're doing. We're rounding out a cylinder and we're making it spherical by giving an axis. Now, the other thing that comes up sometimes is that some doctors will write lens prescriptions in plus cylinder form versus minus cylinder form. Well, what does that really mean? Well, what it technically means is that it tells us what doctor you've gone to. So typically an ophthalmologist will oftentimes write in plus cylinder format. That has to be converted. So it comes down to a mathematical equation, but let's just write one out for just a minute and see if we can talk about that. So let's assume that someone has a +2 on the spherical component, and they have a +2 on the cylinder component. And we're gonna make this easy, and we're gonna stick with 180 in axis 90. So let's just write this out. So we've got a +2 axis of 90. Well, if I needed to convert that into minus cylinder, because optometrists deal in minus cylinder and lenses are ground in minus cylinder, I'd have to do a mathematical equation. So in order to change this to be a minus cylinder form, we're going to add the sphere and the cylinder together. And we're going to get a +4, but we change the sign. So that plus sign on the cylinder becomes a -2. And then we add 90 degrees to the axis. Are you confused yet? I hated math. And if I had known as an eye doctor in school, or becoming an eye doctor was going to require so much math, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about this with you today. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. I found out, unfortunately, when I was in school, and it was a surprise, and I had to grin and bear it and get through it. And here I am today. I managed to become a doctor. Okay, so what we do is, if it's a plus cylinder form, we add these two components together, which gives us our +4. We then convert that over to a minus sign and leave the same amount of power there. But then we change this by 90 degrees and make it, instead of 90, 180. Voila, we've got it written now in minus cylinder form. So this is a little bit of information, maybe more than what you ever really wanted to know about the sphere, cylinder, and axis component of your glasses, but that's what it means. And this is just one of those videos that's a little bit informational, maybe off the beaten path of what I typically tend to do. So if you're interested in what do we really do, and hey, we actually reduce these types of lens prescriptions all the time. How do we do that? Well, there's a couple of things that you need to do for action steps. One, contact us at 618-288-1489 if you're local. If you're not local, that's okay. Go to our website at visionforlifeworks.com and schedule a consultation to learn how we might be able to help you reduce your lens prescription. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any notifications of our videos. And if you found this to be one of those cool, kind of informative videos that someone else could benefit or might enjoy from watching it, please pass on. Thank you.